Well, David Oakes, I am so thrilled to have this conversation with you today. And we have not known each other for a long time, but I feel like I've known you for a good part of my life. I feel like you're like a
Oh,
soul, like, when we talk about brothers and sisters in Christ, you are a brother in Christ. And I am so
oh, you
blessed to
honor
know
me,
you.
Mary. And I feel the same about you. In this short little time, you've become one of my heroes. I listen to you. I admire you. I follow you. I take notes when you talk. And I look at all the people that you impact and influence and the money that you are raising all over the world through these people. I just think, oh my goodness, you're just a young kid, a young person, but you're finishing so strong. That's a big deal to me since I'm 60. I think about finishing well, but girl, you are set up to finish strong. And as I say on my podcast, kick history in its sides. You are making a difference. And as our mutual friend Marissa Nelson says, if you don't show up to do what you do, who suffers? I would say on your behalf, or when it comes to you, Mary, a lot of kingdom work would not happen if you didn't show up to do what you do. So you're one of my heroes too.
Oh,
I'm
you
close to
are so
intoxication right now.
sweet. Oh,
I'm on a podcast. I'm on the show with one of my heroes in life. So I love you. I just admire you so incredibly. I admire you for the work that you do. And I say, don't stop showing up to do what you do. So many people all over this world in countries that you and I can't even name really are impacted by the work that you do. Wow. Congratulations,
well,
Mary.
man,
How
I'm
amazing
just
is that?
guys, I'm just gonna continue to have, hangouts with David. I mean, he doesn't want to hear that. And thanks, David. You're so kind. You're so sweet. Well, let's talk about you, David, because that's what we're here to do today. I mean, David, you have had. I feel like all these different pivots and all these different experiences in your 60 years, and you have had the experience of being a pastor. You've had, and I don't even know the half of what you have done, but I know today you do similar work like I do, helping ministries, helping missionaries raise funds, and but really digging into those bigger campaigns, digging into those larger dollar amounts. So when pastors say, "Hey, I've got that building campaign," or "I've got that big goal," David is your guy. And so tell us, David, just fill in the gaps on your story, and just how you got to doing what you're doing today.
Sure. I had a disappointing and a painful childhood. And as a teenager, I went to church one day and I experienced God, and He changed my life. I got in tune with my purpose and I immediately began to give myself away. I read a book by Zig Ziglar where he said, you can get everything you want in life if you'll help enough other people get what they want in life. And I thought, I'm going to help as many people as I can to get what they want in life. And I'm trusting that God's going to do that for me. And it is the truth. So as a teenager, I just fell in love with a faith based community, gave my whole life to it. And very, very shortly, if you show up at church ready to serve, you're going to get some jobs to do.
Yeah.
So I was doing lots and lots of jobs. I loved it. I have been in church work since I was a teenager. And now I just celebrated my 60th year last year, going on 61 in June. And so I've given my whole life to that. We've started a number of churches in my lifetime. The last church I started was 25 years ago, and we started it right here in Little Moultrie, Georgia, one of the poorer counties in Georgia, but a wonderful, wonderful place to have a family, raise your kids. And I did. We started our church and grew that thing by 100 people a year, year after year after year. And before long, it became the biggest work in this region, and everybody would say, "Oh, you're the mega church pastor." and in the scale of mega churches, trust me, our church was not a mega church, but for this region, it grew to
Sure.
be very large. It's still very large to this day. We began to have lots of needs, and so we needed to raise money. We needed more space and more chairs and more staff. And so raising money became a big deal. Our team was wonderful in that they hired me lots of coaches and lots of consultants. And in those days, I remember John Maxwell was just he wasn't little, but he was a
Mhm.
pastor out in San Diego. And they would ship me to wherever John Maxwell was. And John Maxwell would talk about fundraising. And if you want to set the vision as the pastor, you need to be able to fund the vision. And I thought, okay, I got to learn this. So through John Maxwell, and we used to go to Willow Creek all the time when it was like the rage. And
Mhm.
so learning from all those guys, we raised millions. We bought over 100 acres of just prime property, built state of the art facilities. It's like just an amazing place filled with great people. And it's all paid for. We raised the money, it's all paid for. There are no payments on it. And that ministry is just it. Oh my gosh. When I left, it's gotten even bigger and more amazing. So I learned from a lot of consultants. We did lots of campaigns. And in 28, through the year, we had a big missions program. Through the years, they would ask us to give. And we found that there were a lot of organizations we wanted to give some major bucks to, but we felt like they were not prepared. So it's like, David, would you go help them? Would you travel to the other side of the world and spend a few weeks with them? I'll take a laptop, QuickBooks, and just everything to help them get their act together and to make it something they could present to donors. And in 2018, I just thought we decided, you know what? This is what David's passionate about doing. It was like, I need to go do this. It's wrong for me to keep taking a paycheck from them when this is what I'm passionate about. So I launched out. I took a risk and launched my own company and started offering myself to nonprofits. How do you get started on in that? I didn't know. So what I did was I just did it for free.
Mhm.
So I offered myself for free and managed to help a few organizations get started, raise money, and I got some stories. And out of that, I got one client and a couple more. And that's now since 2018, only for just a few years now. I'm giving my whole life to helping nonprofits all over the world. I just did a class with Donald Miller called Hero on a Mission. And inside of that, you write your own eulogy and you look at it every day. And so I've written my own eulogy, and in my eulogy, you would love my funeral if they'd used my content. But anyway, in my eulogy, whoever's reading it is saying David helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nonprofits all over the world raise hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the end in mind that I'm shooting for. I want to help nonprofits get the money they need, the confidence and the money, because they need the money and they need the confidence too. That's how I found you. Was you were helping, you were already doing what I was dreaming of. And so immediately before we even met, I'm listening to you, your podcasts, and everything you do. I stalked you. I did. And I thought,
Good.
I've already bonded with her and she doesn't even know it. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Oh, just the power of communication, huh? But what a great journey that, you had such success and, that God let you see really into just all these different ways that things could be done and just hands-on experience so that
Yes.
now you get to help all these organizations and
Yes.
I'm in the same way. I actually with the whole eulogy, obviously we have a similar passion for helping nonprofits raise money, but I was like Mr. Holland's Opus. Like, I was like, "I wanna be in this," like,
Yes.
it's gonna be a beautiful symphony of
Mhm.
just music coming from every corner of this world, and that is just, oh,
Awesome.
so,
That's
but I
awesome.
mean, I just think about how, yeah, helping as many people, and
Yes.
so
Mhm.
so let's jump into that because, I mean, you obviously teach on this and you help people, you coach them through the process. What do you I mean, I wanna tease people a little bit, but there are really only just 2 words that will get you all the money that you need. And I want you to tell them, what are the 2 words that will get you all the money that you need?
The 2 words, if you will commit yourself to saying them excellently, are "thank you." Gratitude and graciousness will pave the road to prosperity for you personally, for your organization. It'll do it even in your business. Thank you is powerful, powerful, powerful. Most people are floored when I ask them what most charities and most churches do when donors give for the first time. And they're like, what? And then my answer is always mind blowing: nothing, nothing.
Yep.
They do nothing. For years at my church, I would only know, but I had been prompted by leaders smarter and further along than me who understood the power of saying thank you. But at my church, every time someone gave for the first time, I would sit down and write them a personalized note that said, "Thank you for your giving and welcome to Heritage Church Giving Community. Here's my cell phone number. Give me a call. I'd love to know who you are. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Your gifts are already changing lives." And I'd sign my name to it and send it. Those people never once got angry with me. They never thought less of me. And you know what? They'd give their kids money. They'd give their children. Now, this was a special time for me. I would get those little envelopes in the offering plate. The business secretary would always give me those envelopes, and you could tell it was a little kid because they scratched their name on there. And I'm like, oh, this is gold. I would write a note to Mister Whoever it was and send it to them. I could always count on those parents finding me at the end of that next weekend. Often their eyes would be moist and they would say, "You have no idea the impact your note had on my little kid." And I want to tell you, every time this car heads toward this property, they're saying, "We got to have some money. You got to give me some money. We got to put something in the plate, Daddy." And I've met some of those people are major business people here in our area. And those people say today, do you know what? That played a major role in our helping us to instill the value of generosity in our kids. Say thank you. I meet pastors and they say, "But our church," they'll have one or 200 people. And they're like, "But that would be me. That'd take me a lot of work." Yes,
Yes.
yes, do it, do it, do it. Just say thank you. We raised millions and millions and millions of dollars. We did. That property is all paid for. It's state of the art. And people gave and they came back and said, "David, thank you for the opportunity to give." Now you've arrived when you can ask people to give and they will thank you for giving and they'll pull you aside and make sure nobody else hears. And they'll say, "Now, if I'll give you this, but if you need more, you come back and talk to me." And I'm wink, wink, sure. Thank you. Thank you. If you can say thank you, I'm telling you, it will pave your road to prosperity. And I believe that a generous and a thank when you're generous with your thank yous, the donors will be generous with their dollars. They are.
Yeah.
Raising money is not hard. As a matter of fact, oh my God, Mary, it's one of the most fun things in this world to do. I just think I get to raise money and help people to raise money. How much more? Is there a greater privilege on earth? It's the most fun thing in this world to do. I meet some clients and leaders in the nonprofit world, and they go, "I hate raising money. I don't understand that." I'm like, you just need to change your perspective here. You
Yes.
just need to understand we're serving these donors with amazing opportunities that somebody needs to do it and somebody needs to do it well. And no, nothing helps you to raise money more than just concentrating on saying thank you. I say saying thank you excellently. Just say
Well,
it
and
excellently.
I was going to say, anybody can hear in your voice and those who can see your face, that is, you have the ability to do that in a very genuine way. And I think that sometimes people get very robotic in their in their thanking people, and maybe that handwritten note feels like it's a copy and paste, like they just, pumped in somebody else's information. So, like, when you say excellently, like saying thank you excellently,
Yeah.
not just a flippant, "Oh, yeah, by the way, oh, yeah, thanks. We couldn't do it without you." Like, I mean, we all know the cookie cutter things that people say.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm just one of, 1,000 people that you're saying thank you to," and it just doesn't even feel good. So, I know that you have the ability to, like, make people feel like it's a warm hug.
Giving giving you and I remember, I don't know if you'd remember, but one of the first conversation you and I ever had, we talked about the gift of giving,
Yeah.
and you said, "You must have the gift of giving, David." I do. I had that conversation over lunch today with a close friend, and we were talking about because he went over my eulogy, and he added some things, and he talked about the role of money in my life and how I teach others, and he just said, "That's a big part of who you are." And I just said, Roy, um, gosh, giving is like one of the most, it's I'm addicted. I love to do it. And somebody like me needs to marry somebody like my wife who, I would give everything away. I don't understand why we wouldn't. But she's like, let's just see if the Lord is leading us here, David. So
Yeah.
she brings balance to me. But saying thank you
Yeah.
excellently, it sets you, well, having the passion, understanding that you're serving the donors really makes your thank yous genuine. You just might jogged my memory. I remember not that long ago, I met this really an amazing little pastor, and he's in another city. And we were describing, I was asking him about his church, his ministry, and his life. And he wanted to know what I did. And I said, I teach organizations and individuals how to say thank you very well. And of course, it results in a lot of money. He was very intrigued. I thought he was amazing. And I gave him this challenge. I said, tell you what, I'm going to come to your church. I'm going to get up Sunday morning and drive because I want to come to your church. You're going to be there. I'm going to see you. But I want to give you a challenge. Before I leave my house, I'm going to write out my check to your ministry. I'm coming with money in my hand and I'm going to put it in the plate. But because we were talking about what is my role and what do I do?
Yeah.
And I said, but if you're the norm, if your church is the norm, no one will say anything about my gift. It'll be the first time I've ever been to your church. They'll have to type my name into your database.
Yeah.
They'll have to record it. You've never had a gift from me. If you're the norm, no one will say anything to me about my gift. And then I went on to say, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to make you a promise. If that happens, I will never give to your ministry again. When I tell the story, people always lean in and go, so what happened? And my answer is always, well, let's just say I can't give to his ministry without breaking my promise. So pastors ought to say thank you, Mary.
I know.
Churches should say thank you. I challenge pastors all the time, but pastors have a mentality and I could talk about pastors because I've been one all my life, but pastors have this mentality that it's their job to give. It's what they're supposed to do. The scripture tells us to give. I'm not going to thank them for doing something that they're already supposed to be doing anyway. But you know what, Mary? I raised my children. They had tasks to do, they had chores to do. And when they did what they were supposed to do, you know what I did? I said, thank you.
Yep.
When my wife does something that she normally does, because we sort of have, we've divided our tasks up
Kind of.
into our roles.
Mhm.
And when she does it, I say thank you. I say
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
So why would you not?
Mhm.
Why would you not have
Yeah.
systems in place even that make sure thank you is being said from your organization? Why
And
would
that
you not?
that is it right there, setting up systems. And as somebody who does the thank you well, what do you recommend for somebody who is listening and paying attention here and saying, okay, we are that church, we are that ministry, we're that missionary, and we're not good at saying thank you. And what should we be doing? How could we maybe automate
Set
this
up,
and make it
yes.
more just turnkey for what we do? What would you
Set
recommend?
up a system. I had a conversation with a wonderful, wonderful pastor just this week, and he was saying, "I read your stuff, and I just it sets me on fire when I read it. But in my church, I'm not allowed to know who gives. I'm told nothing." And I said, "Here's what I suggest you do: go and ask them if, when someone gives for the first time, could they just tell you who it is? They don't have to tell you
Yeah,
an
how
amount, because
much?
he said, by design, I don't know what anyone gives." And I said, go and talk to them. Get your leaders together and just say, y'all, it is sad that someone could give at our church, and there's no one, it's no one's job at our church to say thank you. I want to take that role. I want to take that job. I'm going to ask the business secretary if she would just give me a list of the people who give for the first time.
Yeah.
She doesn't even have to tell me how much. She doesn't have to say it's big or small,
Right.
but just tell me who it is and allow me to write them a note and say, welcome to our church. Welcome into our giving community. You just stumbled into the greatest thing on earth. And then thank them, thank them. Or would they allow you, tell you when someone, the business person, the financial secretary knows
Right.
if there's a lady in the church and she gives $50 a week or $100 a week, they know when she gives a big gift. If there's a person in your church who gives $100 a week and suddenly out of the blue, they drop a check in for 5,000 or 10,000, is it okay if the financial secretary will let you know, Miss So and so gave a special gift? And you can pick up the phone and call her and just say, they don't tell me how much. You, as well as I know by design, I'm not supposed to know, but I have instructed them to tell me when some of our people give special gifts. And I just want to say thank you. Gosh, how precious and how wonderful you are. So even in churches where by design the pastor doesn't know who gives, uh, sometimes there's ways around that. There are ways around that. So I would suggest get your leaders together. And if they say, we're not going to do that, that's not the way we've done things,
Yeah.
and just explain to them the power of gratitude
Yes.
and just tell them, look, let it not be said that someone would come to our church and put their hard earned income. That income represents their time, their energy, their talent, their creativity. Let it not be said that someone could do that at our church and someone not say thank you. Financial secretary is not going to breathe a word. She is sworn to secrecy. She's not going to do it. Who does? And that's another thing, even at nonprofits.
Yeah.
I like to challenge them. I challenge the board. I challenge the staff. I challenge the executive director. You guys tell me, on whose job description is it? Make sure this organization says thank you. And of course, after talking with me about gratitude and saying thank you, they all look around sheepishly and go, I'm not sure. I mean, I've just assumed she was doing it. Well, I assumed he was doing it. Don't assume
Don't
something
assume.
that powerful. Yeah. Do not assume that something that amazing and powerful just gets done. So, as the leader, if you're on a board, ask that question the next time your board meets. Hey, I'm just curious. When someone gives gifts, what is our protocol? Do we have a system set up? What happens when somebody gives the first time? What about when somebody gives a major gift? Do we have, whose job do you, and ask your ED, do you say thank you? Tell me about how you say thank you. Tell me how much time you spend writing thank yous. And are you aware? I talk to leaders. It's the most amazing thing to me, but I'll say, what's your budget? And they'll say, I'm not sure. Are you ahead or behind? Well, I don't, if we get way behind, they tell me, listen, If
Oh, man.
you are going to set that vision, you have to be responsible for helping to raise that funding for it. And I ask pastors, and they're the worst. Are you ahead or behind? I'm not sure. I can find out. If you want me to, I can find out. I'm really just curious if you knew. So, could you imagine a captain of his ship not having any clue the direction? If there was fuel, we're launching out and we're headed somewhere, and he has no idea if there's enough fuel in the tank to keep the engines running till you get there. I cannot. I cannot. And I know for pastors, let me just brag on pastors.
Mhm.
We spend our lives studying the Bible, and nobody's really challenged us to be business leaders. But I will tell you, you are a business leader. If you're on the board, if you're part of the deacon board, you're part of the elder board, if you're on the board, you're an executive director, if you're on staff and you realize nobody says thank you, just volunteer. Hey, I'll take that role. I'll do it. Let me tell you something. God will. I'm a believer in God. You can call it the universe or whatever, but it is, and the great theologian, the Karate Kid, said it best. What goes around comes around. You put it out there, it will come back to you wave after wave after wave. I believe that. I've lived that. It is the truth, I can tell you.
I agree. I agree. You hit on a couple things that I'm like, just the fact of that the pastor doesn't know the details, and I understand you hit on some things that are so important because I mean, some churches that is the way it's always been that the pastor does not know. But for many of our listeners, if they're a part of a sending organization or they're actually an executive director of the organization, they do have a handle on where their money is going. I could have a whole rant on why I believe that every pastor should know what gifts are coming in for the
I
pure
do
sake of the
too.
health of your
I do
people,
too. I
because
do too.
money says so much.
It
When
does.
money goes up, when money goes down, when it disappears, that there could be some serious conversations that could be
It's so
had
true.
around that.
So
So
true.
anyways, I think the advice that you gave is so good. I mean, like, just I hope that people are paying attention to that. Just have a system in place,
I do.
follow the guidelines of your leadership, but make sure that every person really does feel special, that that and their donation matters to your ministry
It
and to the work
matters.
that's being
It
done. So
absolutely does. It does.
missionaries who are listening, some of them are, they're under the umbrella of their sending organization. And sometimes those donations come in, relatively quickly and they can see, oh, a gift was made. What do you say when maybe a couple weeks or even a month go by and it's just because of the way that the system is set up that they don't see those notifications? How do you recommend that they make sure that they still honor this, the two words that they need to get off to get all the money that they need? What should they do in their circumstance?
Mary, you're more of an expert of all the systems that missionaries have to live with. So often it's not their choice, it's just the systems that they live within, and they do well to do that. But um, I don't know what to say other than if statistically it's been proven that if someone gives their first gift and someone says thank you, someone in authority says thank you within 48 hours, that person, like the odds of them giving a second gift just go up so high. And if no one speaks to them or says thank you, acknowledges their gift within 48 hours, the chances that they will give a second gift are 4 in 10. Most donors who, out of 10 donors who give a gift to nonprofits and to missions today, 6 of those 10 never come back to give a second gift. So if I were under those constrictions, I don't know, if I found out in 2 weeks that you gave for the first time, I would knock myself out to find you, and I would say, "Thank you, Mary, for your gift. I was only told 10 minutes ago, but I picked up my phone. I did a text. I'm writing this email. I called you 2 minutes after they told me. I couldn't wait to find out more about you. I have my own nonprofit, and this year we did our first end of the year fundraising, and I had new donors who signed on, people I didn't know who they were. And I got the biggest kick out of contacting them. And I said, can you tell? Thank you, number one, for your gift. We're crazy. We're like crazy out of our minds. Thankful for you. Thank you. Can you tell me who you are? And I even asked them, tell me what kind of things you give to. And do you know they love to
Yeah.
tell you their giving journey?
Yes.
I give to this and they give you the 4 or 5 things that they give to. And they'll give to many organizations. And so I, if I, if I were under those constraints, I think I would make it clear to my donor, especially I think first time donors ought to be celebrated. You ought to go nuts on them over them. You should make every effort you can to get in touch with them and find out everything that you can about them, especially about their giving. What motivated you to give? And you want to know their giving motivators because donors don't give to you so much as they give to your organization. Now, maybe that's not true as a missionary. If you were a missionary and you wanted me to give $50 a month, I may not even really understand your vision or your mission. I just believe in you. But as your giving community grows, there will be people who sign on. They're not giving to you because they don't know you.
Right.
They're giving to the values that you represent. So they're really not giving to you so much as they're giving to their values. So
Yeah.
you want to get to know those donors and just say, I have some good questions that I love to ask them. I like to say, have you ever had a bad giving experience? Well, if they have, they will tell you. They'll tell you a time that they gave and it wasn't acknowledged and nobody said thank you. They'll tell you about it and you learn so much. Well, tell me about a time that you gave that it made you feel wonderful. And they'll tell you those stories too. What you're doing is learning their love language. And if you want them to keep giving to you, then talk to them in their love language. And
Yeah.
so I just love people and I love to honor their giving and to serve them. And when you find out their values, they will give to their values. And if you represent it to you till the cows come home, Mary, they will give. And again, like I said earlier, they'll thank you for the opportunity of giving and they'll give more and more. And you know, if you're leading an organization, those are the people that, if prompted, when they die, their family will call you and say, Mama loved you.
Yeah.
Mama loved you. And she left. She wanted to make sure that you are a part of her estate plan. Now, you can get a lot of money from individuals, but I don't know. There's very few of us that don't have a whole lot more resources in death than we do in life. So you're not going to get that kind of major gift from me alive. I don't have it. There's a chance, though. There's a chance because we do have insurance. There's a chance you might get a quite substantial touch from me in death. And so, again, values.
Yeah.
Learn those donors say. So, this all started out, Mary, from the question what about those people
Right.
stuck in those parameters? I think if I had to deal, if they didn't tell me for 2 weeks, I would find you and I'd make sure that you understood I didn't waste 2 minutes getting in touch with you as soon as they told me.
Yeah, and
How's that?
that is so good, and I think that the other thing on top of that is that we actually have a lot of control over the journey of our donors. So, when you're on, at the pulpit and you're making the ask and you're telling them about the journey of here's
Yeah.
how you give, that is something, and for missionaries who have a journey, they're having conversations just like
Yeah.
how we're having a conversation
Yeah.
here, so they
Absolutely.
can prompt that donor with specific guidelines of here's how you give to our ministry. So I just
Yeah.
want to put a little plug in there that if you know that your organization takes 2 weeks or a month, then you have a pledge card. You have a way that they can
Yes.
already submit, hey,
Yes.
I'm going to be sending in this donation, and let them know, please notify me so that I can, number one,
Yes.
keep an eye out for that gift, and number two, so I can thank you.
Yes,
So
absolutely,
and if I don't know
absolutely.
that you gave, I can't thank you. And that would mean so much to me to be able to do that. So I think that that's some of it is that when you know how your organization is set up,
Yeah.
you know how this works. Don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. So
Yeah, lobby them, and, your role may be in educating them. Thank you is like a primary key to great relationships. Gosh, I was raised that way. When somebody gave me a piece of candy, my mom was always close by nudging me going, "What do you say?
like,
What do
yep,
you say?"
exactly.
Like, "David, did you say thank you?" When my kids, we raised our children, when people gave them things, we're like, what do you say?"
Right.
And they'd roll their eyes, "Thank you." But I'm gonna tell you, my kids know how to say thank you today. You will not buy them a Coke. You wouldn't buy them anything that they wouldn't say, "Thank you, thank you." I don't know why, but somehow, maybe it's a poverty mentality, but some leaders, because I've had these conversations with them, in dealing with donors with, say, high capacity, they may go to lunch and the donor pays for the lunch and they never say thank you. And I'm like, um, what? Well, I mean, they got millions. That little, $15 or $10 that they spent on that lunch. I mean, they don't want me bothering them with that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that could have been a test. That could have been a test. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you probably failed it. Like, I have, in my role as a pastor, served missionaries, and we show up like, when you show up to serve a missionary, they're not going to pay for anything. I've showed up for weeks and paid for everything and left that trip, and no one in that ministry ever said thank you. Of course, knowing me, I always pull them aside and say, "Wink, wink. Could I tell you something?" I've been paying for everything we have done, and we lived pretty high for 2 weeks now. No one, not you, no one has said thank you. I know because I've been looking for it and waiting for it. And they're like, "Well, d that's just, we all know this is the way it is when people come, from the United States to do. It's expected."
It's the
I
expectation.
don't care what the expectation is. I knew the expectations, why I showed up with enough cash to pay for everything. But I'm gonna tell you something, always say thank you. I have many friends with high capacity, very wealthy, but I'm gonna tell you, they don't buy me a peanut that I don't say thank you. I don't care if Bill Gates came and spent $1, which would be insignificant to him. I would say, Bill, wink, wink, thank you for the Coke. And as soon as I left, I'd text him back and say, "The Coke tasted so good. It tasted so much better because you bought it for me, Bill. Love you."
Mm,
Find ways to
yeah.
say thank you. Saying thank you, it's a primary key to building great relationships. If I didn't say thank you, I don't know if my wife would have stuck with me for 36 years.
Amen.
I mean, if I didn't say thank you, and again, it's stuff that, we have to, in 36 years, you have things that you do. She cooks way better than me. Let's just to
Amen.
be honest. But when she gets in there and cooks, it's not her job.
Right.
She does it because she's amazing. And we were talking about that last night, actually. She cooked something amazing. I'm like, "You are wonderful. Thank you." And she
Yeah.
just said, "You're so easy to please." So, and when somebody just pours that gratitude on you, you know what I hope it does? Can I tell you what I hope it does? I hope it motivates her to get in there and do it again, of course.
Exactly. Don't stop. And that is the same thing with that donor repetition that it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that you want them to know that it's like I think that so many of us, we make assumptions, right? Like back to what you
Yeah.
said, we make a lot of assumptions that of
Yes.
course this person knows that I care about them. Of course they know that I love them and that I appreciate what they've done. But we
Need to
do
say it.
forget,
You need to
yes,
say
that
it.
it
You need to
matters.
say it. If you're thankful, you need to say it. You are gracious. You should find ways to say it. Put it into words. Words are like they're the
Yeah.
power of the universe. I mean,
Amen.
put it into words. Say it, speak it. Say thank you. Be gracious.
Well,
Be
and it's
kind.
it's really interesting because in scripture it it specifically talks about thankfulness and showing our gratitude and thankfulness. And so I hope that everybody can hear that and know the call to action is to do this with automation. I mean,
Set
we
up
could.
systems. Set up systems. When somebody gives for the first time, what do you do? Have a welcome packet that you send them with a little note inside. Have get a couple of members of your board or your team, alert them, send them a text. Hey, we got a new donor. Yay, yay. Send them a note. And I teach my board members how to write those notes because they're like, I don't know what this, I mean, I don't know. They don't want to hear it from me. They
Here's
don't
the
want to get
template.
3 notes. And I'm like, yes, I give them a template. I
Exactly.
teach my board members, here's exactly, I give them a copy. I write out for them what to say. I
Yeah.
serve on the board with David Oakes and Bethlehem International School Foundation, and you should have heard him bragging about you. Yay. Welcome to the giving community. We're going to be friends forever. Your
Okay.
gift is already raising up leaders in the Middle East, signed their name. So I teach my board members how to say thank you, and it matters. It makes a difference. So just
Yeah.
just thank you
I think
is
we
powerful.
I think we might have gotten that part across. So, but if somebody, yeah, if somebody wants to connect with you, David, like, I mean, you are the king of gratitude. I mean, you ooze it. And I do remember the very first conversation, well, maybe not the first one, but one of our first conversations where we were talking about your, just your passion for giving and that generosity. And it just, when you show up and you are just so present and so, available, and you really genuinely do care, I mean, it
Yeah.
permeates the conversation. It just, it's so good. So, but if somebody is like, "Hey, I need to hang out with David," like, I need some of whatever he's drinking, whatever his wife is serving
Yeah.
up, some of that.
Sure.
Because
I've spent some time with Lauren V. Davis, and she has helped me to
oh,
help people to find me. So you'll find me on Instagram as David L. Oakes, since there's a lots of David Oakes in this world. But you can find me as David L. Oakes 12, but you'll find me if you start with David L. Oakes on Instagram. You connect with me on Facebook, David L. Oakes. Or you could go on over to my website, and this I need to change to davidloakes.com. I'm not ready for you yet,
coming,
though.
it's
Give me some
coming.
time. But at the moment, it's WS Develop. That's short for World Stage. It's what I named my business when I started a few years ago. But you can find me at wsdevelop.com. And I do a blog post every week. I never knew this, but I love to write. I never once would have thought that, but I write every week just something, usually flowing from either a conversation that I've had during the week, or I'll get some collateral in the mail from an organization. And I think, oh, God bless them. I want to help them. They don't know who I am, but I'm going to write a blog post that tells them what they need to hear.
It's good.
So you can sign up for my blog. I would love to hear from you. I'd love for you to get my material every week. And usually it has something to do with being gracious, being kind, and saying thank you. Just yesterday, this morning, I just sat, I got a donor contribution statement in the mail. It was just the statement of what I gave. And of course, I was horrified. There was no note or letter or anything that said thank you for what you did. So I just sat down and I wrote, do not ever, this is my blog
Yeah.
post for today. I'll be mailing it out in the morning. Do not send out a naked annual contribution letter. I just called it it's
Naked.
naked. Put some clothes on that thing. And so I just said, send a little letter with it that says, thank you. This letter is just to say, thank you. You matter. Your giving makes a difference. Enclosed is your giving statement. Love you like crazy, and we couldn't accomplish anything without you. And as a matter of fact, here's a little story about a person who was impacted just this last year that somebody was bragging to me about because you gave. So that was my blog post today is
Good.
don't send out a naked, I never heard of this before, I made it up, but
Yeah.
don't send out a naked annual contribution statement. Don't do that. But if you sign up to my email list, my blog post once a week, whatever struck me and grabbed me, I just sit down and write about. And you can get that. And people, I meet strangers who tell me they cannot wait to get my stuff. I also get phone calls from people all over the world, and I say, "Excuse me, but why are you calling me? Somebody forwarded me your blog post about saying thank you or whatever." So, nonprofit leaders tell me they look forward to my stuff. I would love for them to come and sign up.
Awesome, awesome, so good. Hey, by the way, I got a naked gift in the mail last week. I mean, like, it was just a cute little box. I thought it was like Amazon or something, and I opened it, and it was just a gift, and there was no letter, no nothing, and I looked on the box, and I mean, I help a lot of charities and help a lot of ministries, so I was like, "Who is this from?" And then I had to look at the name, and I had to go online because I really didn't
Oh,
even know
Mary.
who
Oh my
the
goodness.
so,
Wow.
but I mean, that
If
just
it was
goes
an expensive gift, it would be okay.
well, it wasn't a super expensive, but it was enough to be like, "Is this, okay, is somebody happy with me or not happy?" Like, could be dangerous. No. Anyway, but I think that that's a great piece of advice that it's like, not just send not this, not only the statement, but the, gifts or anything that you send out. Make
Don't
sure that don't make people question
Yes.
who actually gave this to me and you spent all that money to do it. Why would you not let me know that it came from
W
you?
Why
So,
would you pass up the opportunity to say two of the most
yeah.
powerful words in language? Why would you pass that up? You coulda said thank you. You could
Amen.
have.
Oh, and on that note, David, what a joy. Hey, oh my gosh. I just thank you so much for bringing the energy, bringing the excitement, your comments about just loving fundraising. I hope that people are it's just so contagious
I
because
hope
I mean, I
so.
think that you and I, we've had some wins under our belt, right? Like
Yes,
we've
same.
had
Oh,
those wins
absolutely.
and I know sometimes
Yes.
people are sitting there listening and they haven't had the wins
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so hard and it's frustrating." But I hope that you can steal a little bit of joy from David and I. Love, love, love fundraising.
Yeah,
Love to thank people.
for
Love
sure.
to do life with people. And I can't imagine that you who are listening are not don't want the same. So on that note, get your thank you plan in place. Get your thank you plan in place today. Have the conversation with whoever you need to have it with. Get your thank you play in play and clearly in place.
Do
And
it.
right?
Let's
And the
do it.
2 words are free, right? They're free.
Yes,
Absolutely free.
yes.
Doesn't
Oh,
cost anything
Jesus. Mm.
to say the 2 golden words, "Thank you." So,
Yeah.
thanks, David. Thank you. I'll end with that. Thank you. And
Bye,
I
Mary.
will
Thank you.
see you so soon. All right. Thanks,
Love you.
David. Love you too.